Carbon fiber. Sure, it's stable, has a tone all its own, but can it rock? Can it metal? Let's check it out. Alright guys, that demo was done because I wanted to rock out a little bit with this and see what we had. It was done through the old and venerable Sansamp bass driver, something I'm sure we're all familiar with. So that's going to give you a bit of a live sound kind of thing, but we're going to go through and do some totally unprocessed DI sounds here too, so you can hear it just straight out of the box. So this is the Apollo Bass from Klos. And that's how it's pronounced, close, as in you're standing way too close. Now, if you watch the channel regularly, and of course you do, you know I've been a big advocate of composite necks for a long time. I've been into graphite, carbon fiber. I've been, down with Modulus and even some of the old Peaveys like the G bass and B quad and things like that. And it's gotten to the point where it's getting harder and harder to find composite style necks if you're into that kind of thing and get them at a reasonable price. The things have just gone through the ceiling. So that was why I was really interested to check out what Klos was offering. I saw them at NAMM a couple years ago and got to speak with the designers and owners of the company. Very cool people, and there's going to be some new stuff I'll tell you about towards the end of the video that they're going to be coming out with. You definitely want to stay tuned and check out for too. I'll probably have them here on the channel, and that'll be good stuff. But as far as this one goes, let's get into it. You have kind of a dual humbucker situation. And the first things to take a look before we talk about the neck is this pickguard assembly is something new and interesting. And that's something I've been complaining a lot about too, is it seems like a lot of bass manufacturers are just making the same bass over and over with a new finish or something like that. But these guys are really trying some new design ideas, and I really kind of dig that. The main reason I draw your attention to the pickguard is because this is a full assembly that you can get new drop-ins for. Meaning that you can pull this whole thing out, controls and all, and set a new one in it, and have a different preamp setup, different routing for different pickups. This is routed out so that it can accommodate basically anything you want to put in it. So if you want to go with a PJ setup, or double Ps, or whatever you may want, or just no preamp, straight volume, that kind of thing. They can make you one drop-in replacement. So that's a really cool option, that it's a way of customizing the instrument that we don't usually get. Because if you get a Music Man bass, you're stuck with Music Man pickups. If you get a P bass, you're stuck with P bass pickups. This, you can get around all of that, really kind of get it to your tone. At some point, again, if you follow the channel, you know I use EMGs a lot. I wanted to get this stock and see what they had going on there, but maybe I'll toss the EMGs in here and we'll do a comparison and see what happens there. But the way I would describe these two and these humbuckers that they have in them is they sound kind of jazzist to me, but without the noise. They're a little thicker, a little deeper, but definitely in that jazz kind of area. So when we give this a listen, you'll be able to hear some of that. Now let's talk about the neck. You can see it's got that really beautiful kind of carbon fiber, snakeskin type of thing going on, which is, to me, always a good look. And it's got the composite fingerboard as well. So on some offerings from other companies, you've had like wood fingerboard, composite neck, different combinations like this. I like an all composite setup so that there's no weak spot in it and it's stable as hell. And this bass has been stable as hell since I got it quite a bit back. And it's also matched by the carbon fiber look on here, so I think it's a cool tie-in. It's kind of brings the whole look of the instrument together. The other thing I want to mention is the neck profile. This was something a little different for me, and I found that really interesting too. As far as how it feels around the nut and everything, if you've ever played a Spectre Euro, it's right about there. It's a kind of a thicker C, but not boat neck type of thing. It's not as slim as a J. It's not as wide as a P. It's that, like I said, Spectre Euro right in between type of thing. The other thing that was interesting is the neck gradually slims out as you go up. That weirded me out a little bit at first. I wasn't used to that, and it felt really exaggerated when I first grabbed it because I'm used to necks that are slim the whole way. But after a while sitting with it, it's kind of grown on me a little bit. And it also means that it more gracefully goes into the bolt joint so that it slims as the block hits. So it doesn't seem like as extreme a jump or your hand opens up quite as wide. So that's a feature I didn't think I was going to like as much. That actually turned out to be pretty cool. So if you like something that's got, a little bit of chunk here, but isn't huge, but gives you that slim option at the top for when you need to kind of pull up and solo, this has got that kind of covered. So, really interesting profile, something I don't see a lot of, and that was kind of an interesting way of addressing that transition we have to make as we go up the neck. And it's not real heavy. It feels, I don't like basses that are too light. They feel like toys to me, just my preference. But it's light enough to be comfortable and not feel like you're playing a concrete block, but not so light that it's going to get neck heavy or just kind of feel like a toy. So with that said, let's talk about the pickups and this preamp situation we got going here. What we have here is a volume, pan, and 3-band preamp going on. So let's take a run. We'll listen to each one of the pickups individually, and then we'll check out what the 3-band does to each one of those selections. Direct in at center. I'm sure you hear that kind of jazzy thing I was talking about. A little bit of punch, a little bit of honk to it. Neck pickup. So even though it's in what would be considered the neck or P position, it still retains a little bit of, again, to me, that jazzier kind of sound. Almost a little bit of Music Man tossed in there too. Let's hear the back. Definitely a rear jazz, real honk type of thing. And again, listen, no noise to it. So if you like a jazzier type of thing, these things can definitely ape the jazz kind of vibe, and you don't get that single coil hum out of them. So definite plus on their electronics there. So let's take a look at the 3-band and see what we got. Bass up, bass down. Nice mid scoop there, or a really pronounced center. And top end. Or out, actually. So again, the preamp doesn't add noise, and I actually find this one useful. I'm usually not a real onboard preamp guy. If I like one, I'll usually stick it in a foot pedal kind of configuration so I can walk away from it, and when my insane hand keeps, tossing down, I don't knock something out. But usually I EQ at the amp, and that's about it. But this actually has, a useful kind of contour to it. It seems to hit some right points. So just a comparison, back to center again. Yeah, I think it's thicker than a Jazz again, but definitely in that school. Useful preamp, solid hip shot kind of bridge going on, and no neck heavy going on here. Obviously, got this kind of miniature headstock thing going on there, but yeah, balance is just flawless. The other really cool thing about this, and one of the reasons why I like Composite a lot, is that it's stable when, like most of us, we live in different weather environments or different humidity levels, or you're indoor, outdoor, going to gigs, playing outdoor gigs, that kind of thing. You can wind up having to set these things up constantly. The other is travel. So not only is the neck going to be stable, but the gig bag that comes with these things is definitely something a little different. So let's check that out too. So this is kind of strange looking at first. You've got what looks like a traditional bag, but then it cuts off at the top like a backpack, and then there's a neck thing here. So what this is, and man, if you have to do fly gigs or something like that, this could be a lifesaver. You've got multiple packs, just like you would a backpack, for pedals, strings, accessories, whatever you need in there. But the Apollo is designed to be disassembled. So it's only 4 bolts on the back of the neck. You unscrew those, you put the body in here, you put the neck in here, and it could even stay strung up because they have a way, and there's some instructions on how to thread the strings through the 2 bags and tighten everything up together so it kind of creates one stable piece that looks about like that. I'm not going to take the whole bass apart and everything during this video. But that's, again, something really cool because I've damn near gotten into hand-to-hand combat doing like gigs in Japan or overseas with some of these flight attendants that are just not going to tolerate a bass of any size getting put in an overhead compartment, anything like that. So having something that fits in a backpack and definitely fits in an overhead, that's huge, at least especially for me. And then having a composite neck that isn't going to move during that time, that once you string it up, it's going to snap right back to where it was because you don't have that flex of wood and the different environment once you get to wherever you're headed. So pull those bolts out, pop it in here. You can put your pedals, everything else inside of it. Once you get there, 4 screws, you're back up and running. So as far as a travel bass, if that's something that you do a lot of, man, this is it's definitely a really interesting approach. I think one that could be really useful for a lot of guys who do touring, especially, like I said, fly gigs or things where you have to get something on a plane. So definitely think about that if this has become a problem for you, as it has, or as I have too, had an airline destroy one of your instruments. Not fun. A little bit of the outside of the box thinking, and I like that, and it's something different for a bass market that, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, has gotten a little stale. So again, I've been talking with the guys at Klos for a good bit, and they've got some new features coming up, and by features I mean new bass models, that may also interest you as well, and definitely looking to have them on the channel. We've been kind of consulting and tossing some ideas back and forth, and I really like to get behind companies that are responsive to the people who are playing their instruments, that take the things into account, and they seem wide open about it. So that's a really cool thing. We talked about different specs and ideas back and forth, and they were just open to everything. So I'm pretty cool with definitely saying it's a company that deserves a look, if not some support. As far as support goes, there's a code that's down in the description that they will give 10% off if you use it from this video to buy any of their basses. So go save some money, get a cool bass. And the things are made to order. You can get different finishes, different colors, that type of thing. So not a lot of companies, too, that are given that kind of base level customization without a bunch of crap, without a long wait time, and at a reasonable price. I mean, these things are literally coming in almost half of what some of the graphite neck bass makers are, sometimes even less than half. So, well worth a look. Grab that link below for the code and to save yourself a few bucks. And I think you could do a lot worse on this one. So that's going to wrap on this one. Again, definitely check them out. Subscribe! Only less than 40% of you watching this video have subscribed. Help a brother out. It matters. It more than anything, it actually puts it up in the rankings so other people can find it. So if you got something out of the video, make sure other people can find it too. Give it a like, leave a comment, tell me your thoughts on it, hit that subscribe and hit the bell, and I will see you next time.